And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another month even of Amantes de StarCraft number 2. Amantes de StarCraft 2 even. Number 35. I'm of course your live VIP with you and joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, by my fleshies as well. Welcome one and all to something different, something special. It has been a while since we've casted Amantes de StarCraft. Alas, Amantes is a monthly Brazilian only tournament. For those that are curious, every 2 weeks we do have Code for Giants Cup. Code for Giants Cup is a bi-weekly open cup for, I say open cup, Brazilian only tournament that we do cast on a regular basis. And at the end of the month, we have Amantes de StarCraft. Let's go, Papi, let's go. It is instead an invitational. Players, they're brought into the event, the best of the best in Brazil, to face off here in a monthly finals. And we're here to crown our January champion. Now, this is going to be a replay cast. The events of this tournament did occur over the weekend, and we were otherwise preoccupied covering other events over the weekend, like Fire Grow Cup, Lil Lee Cup as well, and many other events. So we were otherwise preoccupied. I'll do my best to be able to cover this event live in the future, but again, just it's been a busy month. I can't, what can I, it's been a very busy month here for us in the CranKy Ducklings, whether it's KSL, whether it's Lily Cup, whether it's Masters Coliseum. So it's just been jam-packed, and we are catching up on events we otherwise missed out on live, and we'll do our best to bring them to you live next time. Do our best, do our best. Regardless, of course, we're always here for the Brazilian scene. Fala galera, papi, fala galera. Good to see you all in the chat. Again, we have some of our own in the tournament, as always. Erik, the artist himself, papi, oh my god, is going to be featured here up first against Shakti. Shakti, also a very old school player for a time, potentially even now as well, the best Protoss in all of Latino America. It was definitely up there alongside Parker Mike for many years. Parker Mike did eventually retire. Shakti also retired as well. Again, if for those who are unaware, Shakti used to go by the name Nano many years ago. Then name switched back to Shakti from originally Shakti as well. And he retired. He stepped away from the game. I want to say he's been gone for a couple of years at this point, but it was around November of last year, maybe October of last year, he made his return to the online tournament scene, and it was great to see him back. Shakti has always been a very unique player. Nowadays he plays in his free time. He's not a full-time player by any means, not anymore, but every now and then he does rock up, and he still has retained a lot of skill. I think in recent times we saw him face off against Master, even defeat Master, who I would say is currently the best Protoss in Latin America, but Shakti kind of showing him that, you know, the veteran status here. I mean, he has that status for a reason, and he's got plenty of experience under his belt and was able to take it to the younger blood in Master. But now he's facing off against an old school rival here. Up first, we have Erik versus Shakti. Let's go, baby, let's go. Always a treat to see these two face off against each other. Game 1 is going to be on Frostline, and we're jumping on in. Let's go. We are jumping on in. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings, as he is one of our own. What does he stand for, you may ask? It stands for Endurance, Righteousness, Intellect, and Kangaroo. It is Erik. That's what he stands for. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player. Very old school Protoss, retired for a long time, recently coming back for Eximius Gaming. It is Shakti. Let's go, Bobby, let's go. Oh my god. Again, Shakti, very unique player in his own right. Before I get to Shakti, though, it is going to be a pool first opener out of Erik. Again, Erik, he actually has been very active as of late. Likewise, similar to Shakti, Erik took some time off. Erik, he was focusing a lot on Stormgate when the beta was live. I want to say last year, you know, halfway through the year, Erik was very invested into Stormgate. Recently coming back more to StarCraft, and has actually been pioneering once again and kind of showing the other Zerg players out there some more unique builds. builds, some more unique openers as well. For those that are curious, the 1515 that was eventually made more standard in this matchup to get the hatchery on location was actually invented by Erik. Erik, who was doing it long before anyone else. Eventually, Cyril, he actually saw Erik's games during the EPT, during the ESL Pro Tour. Cyril started it himself, and then the trend continued from there. So yeah, it's really cool to see that Erik has always been very adventurous when it comes to his openers, when it comes to his play, and we have seen more than once actually it adopted into the meta, into StarCraft 2 as it is now. It's Erik, he's Erik. Let's go. As for now, is going to be opening up with a double hatch opener. Interesting. So it's going to be pool into hatch, into a delayed gas geyser here from Erik. And this is what I'm talking about. Erik, he just does his own stuff. He comes up with his own builds. It's always a treat to watch and cast Erik because he does things his own way and takes down the top players doing it as well. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. For those that were here last year, you would know that Erik, he had like a month-long stint where he was actually taking down Dark week after week after week at ESL Pro Tour. I want to say like 3 weeks in a row, something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy. So again, it does do things his own way, and this is going to be an interesting style. Now, typically when we see a double hatch opener like this, I would assume it's for a link flood, just because you have extra lava to work with. As links, they slip in and they should not get too much done. As oh god, does not get the probe. I would assume this is for a link flood, but this is a build that I believe Eva has been doing recently as well. I mentioned it earlier coming into this game how Erik has been recently working and cooking on some new openers, some new builds, and has been like quote-unquote pioneering here for other Zerg players. This is one of them. This is an opener that I know a bunch of the European Zerg players have been looking at and have been trying to adapt as well. Apparently this is meant to be more efficient. This is a way to open up, not to all in, you actually delay your queens. So that's the downside here. You delay your second and your third queen, but you do have actually extra larva. I believe they did the math on this, and technically this is more efficient. It is possible to be punished though, and we have seen certain Protoss players punish this build. Speaking of punishment, Twilight Council opener out of Shakti. Ooh, Twilight Council with the glaze. Well, the Lings, they do scouts. They scout, they confirm, and they get eyes on everything here. I actually wouldn't mind messaging Erik about this, or messaging some of the other Zerg players like Eva, like Fiant, and some of the others regarding the specifics of this build, because I haven't been able to indulge myself. Unfortunately, I think they've been, all the Zerg players have been very active on the All Things Zerg Discord server, discussing this opener and discussing this build. So it may be worth looking into it, as again, we have seen this opener kind of rise up in popularity since then over the past month, I would say. And yeah, I'd love to kind of learn the ins and outs of it myself, as to the pros, as to the cons. Again, on its face value here, does mean less queen production, but is meant to mean extra larva. I think because the hatchery gives you supply as well, you can actually delay your third overlord as well. Regardless of they do get across the map, they do threaten the shade. Alas, Erik is in position to defend, does actually fully wall off, and an Epstein forces shade elsewhere. Checking the third location, so far Erik is holding on. Roach production is beginning, actually still amassing more lings. Now, this is not an all-in Erik. I believe this is without a robo. Yeah, without a robo. So 4 gate glaives, no robo, no war prism. What does that mean? Without the robo, you can afford a third. So this is a macro variation, a more macro variation of 4 gate glaives. Interesting. So we got builds on builds. Let's go. And Epstein do shade in towards that natural. Lings are going to try to keep up. Alas, does not wall off, but roaches have arrived. Ooh, he commits to the shade. And again, the Lings roaches, they're here to deal with this. They will shut this down. A couple of Fs do make their way into the mineral line, though. They make their way in. Drones are going to be going down. At the same time, Erik tries to go for his own lane counterattack, catching out probes. Probes getting caught. So far, 2 drones going down. Likewise, though, 3 probes fall across the map as well. Nice counter damage. The Fs get caught out by the queen. They're going to be delayed. They shade in once again, getting 1 more drone. 3 and 3. 3 drones for 3 probes. But that's Erik. He will keep up. He will shut this down. There we go. Cleans up the adepts. Erik going for his own counterattack. Bearing in mind, behind this, Lair is almost done for roach speed and is droning. So Erik is not going for an all-in. He is counterattacking, don't get me wrong, but he is going to be droning up behind this. Ooh, and Shakti is vulnerable. Yeah, the Stalker is going to go down. Massive pickup. Gets the Stalker. Backs up. Does pull away from there. Does pull away. We have the Spire. We got the Spire on the way. Mate. I'm having a hard time keeping up with Erik. Okay, so he's going to be droning going up to Aspire Tech. I assumed it was going to be, the layer was going to be for Roach Speed. That is not the case. No Roach Speed on the way for Erik. He does transition out of this. Plus on melee into, he's going to be committing here into Ling Muta. Okay, let's go. Let us go. Seeing Zara being forced back. Up. Files a... Ooh, don't quite connect where they force it out of position. Lings, they flood in. They flood into the mineral line. Ravager's going to be forced back. This shouldn't really get too much damage done. Shakti should be able to keep up. I say that. We are getting some probe kills, though. Yeah, 4 probes going down. Nice damage here by Erik. Gets 4 workers. And behind this, the Spire is finishing. And so far, Shakti has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. He's in the dark. Now moving up for a counterattack. Blink is halfway done. Ooh, committing quite hard to this. Prism is ready. Shakti does rotate over towards the third. Erik still amassing those mutas. And Shakti is going to commit, and Erik, if he doesn't have much of a ground army to work with, he could just go down here and now. Could just fall. And more depth shading in, or warping in. Remember, they do have glaives. Erik dancing with the main army. Drop into the main. At the same time, mutas are head across the map. And we're about to get rowdy. I mean, we have a lot going on here. Adepts are going to be distracting. Meanwhile, the Stalkers, they push in all the vials. The vials, they connect. And with the connection of those vials, Erik, he is going to be holding on. At the same time, mutas, they get across the map. They force that offensive warp in. Probes are falling. 5 and 5. So far, an equivalent amount of damage. The Queen is going to go down. Erik running out of reinforcements back at home. Is running out. Ooh. The Ravagers are being targeted down, but the Lings, they will clean this up. At the same time, mutas, they're being shut down as well. And Shakti, who will barely come out ahead when it comes to the economic damage. Shakti getting 10, but so does Erik. Let's go. It's going to be 11 drone kills for 10 probes. Worker counts are still neck and neck, which is going to be better for the Protoss, better for Shakti. Erik getting his 4th. Cleaning up those adepts. And committing to more muta. So more mutalisks. As only 1 muta does survive. Big losses here for Erik. That was 5 mutas going down. Expensive losses. Shakti now getting a 4th. Expanding towards Erik. Bold move. Erik likewise building up as well. Now to 9 mutas. That is more than enough to one-shot probes. It's going to be on Shakti to keep up with the muta harass. We'll see if he can. Erik diving on the Stalkers, actually. Oof, gets 1. Gets 1, gets a 2nd. You're just going straight for the main army. Shuts down the Warping and Stalkers. And the Blinks are not good enough. Erik, he will clean this up. No shield battery, no sag defense. 1 Stalker remaining. There's another Desperation Warp in. Lings, they keep flooding across the map. They break through. And Erik, he's done it. He has done it. There's just not enough anti-air, not enough army. Lings, they flood in. They can go into the main from here. Deep power the production. And GG gets called. Shakti, he has been broken. And Erik will take game number 1. Whew. GG. You know what? I'm gonna... Hold on. I'm gonna... Hi. Hold on. I'm gonna message Erik. I'm gonna... Heard about your... I'm fascinating. I'm fascinated, I should say. Hold on. You get the thing. Alright, cool. I left a message. I need to know. But yeah, CG will play Erik. He will take lead in the series, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Game 2 is going to be on King's Cove. Let's go. But yeah, like I've heard murmurings, and I've heard like tellings of that opener of that build, and I'm still not 100% certain as to like the full theory behind it. I'd love to know as we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner. We have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings, leading the series 1-0. It is Erik. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Eximi's Gaming. It is Shakti. Let's go. Let us go. But I'm curious if Erik is going to go for that opener every game in this series. Again, I just know that the other like pro Zerg players were fascinated by it and were trying it out themselves for a time. We'll see. So far, hatch first. Hatch first, not pool first, like we saw previously from Erik. So it looks like a more standard opener. As we're settling into King's Cove, one of the larger maps on the map pool. Shakti likewise going for his own standard gate cybercore into it, or gate expanded to cybercore. And we're settling in. Once again, Erik going to be delaying his gases. So it's going to be hatch pool. Delayed gases from Erik. Just now getting into it, and yep, once again, he's going for the macro hatch. Let's go. So he went for this in game 1, doing it again here in game number 2. What I will say is that this gas is slightly earlier this time from Erik, as if you remember, previously it was a gas geyser after that hatchery. This time it's before. So faster link speed. Probe is going to be dipping in. Here comes the probe scouts. This is like one of those openers that I want to learn myself. I'll be honest. Fascinated. I mean, I have to play StarCraft first, but let's go. As again, the queen is on the way. For those that are curious, once again, to reiterate, to afford this second hatchery, you do delay your queen. So your queen in the main base is going to be delayed. Likewise, your second queen at the natural is going to be delayed as well, as we are going for the third base. So hatch, pool, gas, hatch here from Erik, as the third is now being taken. Let's go. Let us go. Behind this, we do have our Stargate on the way. Now, from what I remember when it comes to this build, if the probe comes in to probe block you, then things can get really awkward and things can get really messy. If you remember, when we casted Eba attempting this build, that's what occurred, where I think it was Eba versus Mana, where Mana was able to pro block him, and then Eba kind of like fumbled. I think it was either Mana or Skillus. I think he was playing against Skillus. So we saw kind of the dark side of this build, where things can get a little bit more awkward. For now, though. We do have our tech of choice. Third base now on the way for Shakti. Very early third, by the way, before the Stargate's even done. So Shakti also cutting corners. I mean, it makes sense. We're on King's Cove, one of the larger maps in the map pool. So Shakti is safe and sound. And as a reminder, the gases were delayed, so link speed is later than normal. And so Shakti is safer than in the standard game. So it is safe to cut corners, safe to be greedy. Erik likewise droning up. Just now getting his own second queen. Interesting, getting a second gas geyser as well. Is not canceling link speed and going for the roaches. Ooh, never mind. Going for a Bailey Nest even. Okay. Does go for a Bailey Nest response. I mean, he does confirm it's a Stargate opener. As a reminder, last game was a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, so it made sense to go into the Roach Warren. Here, Erik, he is being more greedy. There's no need for roaches here, not against a Stargate opener. Lings to get across the map. Stalker's in position. Up the surround. One Stalker gets caught. Brutal pickoff. He gets one. He gets two. And the Oracle's racing back home, completely out of position. Shakti's in trouble. He's in trouble here. Nice SimCity able to at least keep that Adept alive a little bit longer, but it's still going to go down. Massive pickoff. Gets 2 stalkers, 1 adept, gets a probe, 2 probes even, up to 3, up to 4. Oh my god. Now, thankfully, Shakti, he does retain the base. At least the Nexus does survive, but still some hefty losses there for Shakti. Behind this, Erik is droning up, going for the lair, and this should be for Ling Hydra. If this was any other player, this was a standard game, or I should say like a standard player, I would assume into Hydra tech. But because it's Erik, he may decide to go into mutas. Now, it is typically risky to go muta without a Roach Warren, as you are vulnerable to a ground assault and a ground attack. But I can't rationalize like a game when I'm casting Erik. Like I can't like when I'm usually like piecing things together, I'm like, okay, so this should happen and this should happen. When it's Erik, like it's all out the window, Poppy. It's all out the window. Lair is done. Safety bathing's on the way, plus on melee. Again, everything feels like it should be leading into Hydra production. Feels to be the case. But we'll see. As Shakti moves out with his main army. Saturating his 3rd. Clearing up creep. Erik getting a 4th. And still just purely amassing Ling Bane. He has a lot of gas to work with though, and there it is. Yep, there's a Spire. So it is going to be Ling Bane Muta. Once again, it is a risky style to go for, especially if your opponent goes into Archons and Storm. Now Shakti getting a lot of hits off on that base. Stasis trap on the way. Lings, they collapse in. Up! Oh my god. Does get baited out. 1 queen goes down. And the second stasis should finish. Yeah, it does. Massive connection. Shakti, with that stasis going off, he may just break the base. Ooh, at the same time, bathing run by. 9 probes going down. 9 probes to full. Hatchery getting picked up as well. Yeah, Erik down to 3 bases. Erik, he's struggling to hold on, but the stasis does run out, and now he comes in for a surround. And he will clean this up. Shakti stuck around a little bit too long. He killed the base, but he should have gotten the hell out of here. As Shakti will lose everything. Oh my god. Losing every single stalker. Reinforcements, they trickle in. Erik retaking the base. It is going to be worth it. May have lost it, but it cost Shakti so many stalkers. 15 stalkers going down. And Shakti, he has nothing left to defend. Nothing left to hold. Typically, as a Protoss player, you want to be building up your army over time. You want to be retaining those stalkers over the course of the game. That has not happened. We get a full surround. The expansion is going to be denied. Lings, they flood in towards the natural. Lings, they peel off towards the 3rd. Lings in every base. And Shakti is getting pulled apart. Oh, Cybercore goes down. Shield battery as well. More probe kills. Things, they come back in. They distract the stalkers. GG gets called. He gets torn apart. The mutas don't even come into play, and Erik will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Congratulations here, Erik. You will take the series 2-0 again in a very Erik fashion. And again, like I've only merely heard tales of this build from Erik, of this opener, I should say, and yeah, I haven't been able to see it myself from Erik. I should say I've seen it from other Zerg players emulating Erik, but not from Erik himself. And it's definitely a fascinating one. I have seen this build kind of go awry, and I'm curious to see how Erik performs against other Protoss players in the bracket, but we'll see. We'll see. As for now, he was able to shut Shakti down. GG, well played. Again, Shakti, unfortunately, he had some good moments, but he did stick around a little bit too long. I'm referring to when he killed the 4th. Like, killing the 4th base was a very, very nice moment for Shakti, but after killing the base, he had to get the hell out of there. He had to recall back home and escape. Alas, he stuck around too long. He got surrounded. He lost everything as a result. Likewise, in game 1, just a very chaotic game, just because of the workers were going down on both sides. The muta harass, the adept counterattack as well. Just very chaotic, which is what we appreciate here on the CranKy Ducklings. GG. GG, well played. Erik will advance on into the next round, and we are getting ready for the upper bracket semifinals. Let's go. The upper bracket semifinals here. It's going to be a ZVT between Erik and Inexorable.